Guys, Brian Pierce here, your purveyor of awesome. I'm back. And this time we're going to be talking about the Whoop strap some more. If you guys didn't see, I did a 1 week review after I had the Whoop, talking about just kind of the initial onboarding of getting used to the strap, the application, and all of that stuff. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. Recently, now that with the month that has gone on, I've had 3 big events that I've tried to use the data from the Whoop strap to prioritize my performance, if you will, for those events. I did a quarter marathon, and 2 different dirt bike races, so we'll talk a little bit more about those later on. And if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, you can find me there, Woody B. Pierced. So find me on Instagram. I do put stuff in my stories about using Whoop strap, and obviously I post about all the intricacies of my life there, so maybe you'll find those funny, maybe you won't. So a couple quick wins. One of the things I noticed is I got a chance to go wake surfing for the first time, so spending some time out on a lake, and within that I realized the Whoop strap still works, it works great, but this strap that comes with the Whoop is not great for water sports. So if you're going to be doing more water sports, I would definitely get what they call the Hydroband. The Hydroband is more specific to water sports. This will tend to flip on you and look like that when you come out of the water sometimes, and that will give you a heart attack because it feels like it comes off, and you don't want this thing coming off in the water. So I wouldn't test it. I wouldn't without getting that band if you're going to go in the water. So think about things like that. So battery, they talk about this thing being always on. When you order this, you do get a battery pack and it slides on, and that way you never have to take the band off for it to charge. I love that. It's been interesting to talk to different people who have Apple Watches and Fitbits and to kind of tell them about that part, and you can see they go, man, I never thought about that. It's like when I take it off the charge, it's now not collecting data on me. So the always on aspect of what Whoop and the Whoop strap does, I think was extremely smart to not have that latency or that time where you're not collecting data on yourself. I did notice that they had, probably during September, 25% off of battery packs. So if you're not signed up for their newsletter, probably smart to do so if they're going to be putting little sales like that out every now and again, if you do have a Whoop strap and potentially want to get some of the accessories that they have. Talking about different accessories, I mentioned I race dirt bikes, and within that I talk about some of the data that I collect from those dirt bike races. Whoop talks about how the further you can get your strap up from the wrist, the better, so that this kind of wrist movement doesn't interfere with the data that it's trying to collect. So within that, with this impact strap, it actually moves it here up onto the tricep and the bicep area. So when I measured, unfortunately I do not have the largest biceps, so I had to get the medium, but that's okay. So I've worn it now twice using the impact strap for the 2 dirt bike races that I've done, and it's worked great. I haven't had any issues with it. I do bang around trees quite a good bit because I race off-road and enduro, and if I have hit anything, it has not affected the Whoop strap at this point, the Whoop device, now that it's in the impact strap or impact band. So if you're in any kind of contact sport or potentially mountain biking, anything that could damage this or create a lot of wrist movement, I would go ahead and wear the impact strap. For me, it's a little bit of both. Riding a dirt bike in that attack position, there's a lot of wrist movement, but then also I don't want to hit this when I have worn watches before for different timing, for the timekeeping of enduros of the past. They could catch on bushes, and I just don't want that to happen with this strap. Last kind of quick win here is performance assessment. Since I've had this guy over a month now, I do have 28 days of recoveries collected, so performance assessment is now a thing in my app. It's unfortunate though, is I haven't had a chance to truly play with it, to learn how to utilize it. So I ask you, the community, if you do use your performance assessment from the past 28 days that Whoop gives you, how are you utilizing that data? Let me know in the comments so that I can try to do that. So that'll be one of the things that I want to put out in my next talk about the Whoop strap of learnings, is really try to use the performance assessment that they give me on what I've done in a 28-day month period to try to biohack my way to better performance, potentially better sleep, better recovery, all of those kinds of things. A little bit more deeper dives. One of the things that has been very interesting for me is all of the data that comes with sleep. So within sleep too, as you break it down, you can look at a specific sleep cycle. So you have gone to bed, you have woken up, and Whoop says, hey, now I've got to sleep. It's been auto-recognized. Go check it out. Is some of the metrics that you have down there is from that sleep cycle you can have when you were awake, when you were lightly asleep, your REM sleep, so rapid eye movement, and SWS, which is shortwave sleep. That has been very interesting to play with, and so what I've wound up doing is kind of doing more research on each one of those types of parts, or I guess parts of your sleep cycle, so that I can kind of learn how to utilize them better. One of the big things that I've learned is within shortwave sleep is if you drink, you do not get into shortwave sleep as soon, potentially if at all, because of the fact that you're processing all the alcohol that's in your system. Your body is just too heightened and trying to process the ethanol that's in your system, and probably all the macro and micronutrients that come along with whatever type of alcohol you are consuming. So that's good to know, bad for those of us who are trying to use our sleep to recover properly, because if you work out in the morning and then go out on a Friday night and have a bunch of alcohol and then go to sleep but don't get nearly the shortwave sleep that you need, or to get it early on, then the human growth hormone that's going to be put out by our glands isn't going to be created to actually help us recover from the workout earlier in the daytime. So it's kind of negated. We don't actually get the performance gains from that workout because the muscle tears that we did and the wear and tear on our body doesn't start to be recovered as well as it could if we didn't drink as much. Again, I consume beer. I love craft beer, so I'm not telling you not to drink. I'm just kind of telling you what I've learned through some of my research and stuff like that. Whoop has a podcast, and they have some of their directors of analytics and SVPs come on and talk, and they're very honest about what they have learned, and that's been a big help for me. So if you're wondering any more about sleep, go check that out. Hey guys, Brian from the future here. I just realized that I forgot to tell you guys, when it comes to sleep, one of the craziest things is time in bed versus time actually asleep. Blew my mind. For the longest time, I thought I was getting 7 hours of sleep, but it turns out I was getting just under 6 hours of sleep. I might have been in the bed for 7 hours, but I was not getting 7 hours of sleep. Insane. So that in itself, when it comes down to starting to learn more about sleep, yeah, sure, you're gonna be able to get that information from any fitness tracker, I'm sure. But I just want to say thank you to Whoop for really making sure that that's in the data and pointing that out. All right, back to your regularly scheduled review of me actually at my desk. And one thing that is pretty funny for me is when you go through the times that you're awake and you're like, oh look, that's when I woke up to go pee. And I don't know why, that just always makes me giggle. I'm like, yep, that's when I was peeing. So, I don't know. Hopefully that makes you giggle a little. Another deep dive that I wanted to talk about is the price. A lot of people have complained to me about the price of being a part of Whoop. They see it as, why am I paying a month-to-month service for this strap? And what I've told them, and what I've decided to kind of like realize is happening, is you're not. You are a member of a software as a service company. When they came out with the Whoop 3.0, that's what the business model changed. They are no longer selling you a strap. They give the strap away. That's how they collect the data, and the data, the analytics, the algorithms, access to the dashboards and the applications and everything that they've collected throughout the 6-7 years that they've been around. That's what you're paying for. So it is a software as a service now. It is no longer buying a piece of hardware, you're buying a piece of software on a monthly basis. And currently, what they're putting out is well worth it if you are trying to figure out how to biohack your way towards better performance, knowing that you want to get better sleep, better recovery, and know the type of strain that has been put on your body and how heart rate variability plays into that. So to expand on that a little bit is, if you are really just looking to know your heart rate so that you can be in a certain zone, maybe for like an Orange Theory Fitness where they put those on there and do splat points, and you're really just kind of looking to have a little bit more of a fitness accessory, I think a Fitbit and an Apple Watch are perfect for those. And they kind of break down calories. They are not as legitimate when it comes to the data that is being collected as what you're gonna get with a Whoop strap. Looking around at how they're collecting their data, there is a new device that Fitbit has come out with that looks like it's using the same technology as a Whoop strap, but again, it's not just about how they're getting the heart rate and data. It's what they're doing with it, and then how they're showing that to you software-wise, and the analytics and algorithms that go along with that. So that might be why you would choose a Fitbit or an Apple Watch over the Whoop strap, but they live in two different worlds. They're not the same thing, and they should not be competing with each other currently. Whoop has started to really show on their own how they're differentiating themselves from a Fitbit and an Apple Watch and other fitness trackers that are out there on the market. You can see this in the locker that they have on their website, the podcast that they put out, and the information that they're giving you to learn how to use the data that they're giving you better. So you can learn how to performance hack your way in that direction. And that educational information is absolutely amazing. And what you can tell is there is going to be much more given to us in the future. So the software that we have now, the applications and the data on their the dashboard on their website, all of that will begin to show us more in probably about the next year. They're collecting so much metadata on top of just heart rate variability. I'm sure that the research is being done. How can they use heart rate variability even more to show us things about digestion that's happening in our body? Better, you know, if it's showing us a low recovery score for 3 days, but we feel great. The problem is we're actually getting sick and our body's fighting something off, but it's not so external that we can feel it out here. It's just all happening internal. I've got to think that they're doing all the research right now to try to, how can they tell us that? How can they know, hey, your body is fighting off something, not, hey, you didn't recover from the workout you did 3 days ago. So we know, man, I need to take it easy, not because yesterday was hard, but because I've got a thing going on internally. I think that is the future of this too. Like what we're getting now is amazing, but what we're going to be getting with the data that they're collecting is going to be even better. I love it. I love the Whoop strap so far. It's been an added necessity to what I kind of wanted to get within a fitness tracker. I never got a Fitbit or went the Apple Watch route because I didn't care about my heart rate. I know that doing CrossFit, I get the correct intensity for the workouts desired, whether it's Fran and I'm trying to do it in under 5 minutes, or whether it's a 20-minute chipper and I'm just trying to work my way through it. Like, there are different levels of intensity for those workouts, and we grind through them differently for the right reasons. I don't need a heart rate monitor to tell me that. I know what the intent is and the intensity desired within that intent, and that is going to make my heart do what it needs to do to get me through it. I don't need a tracker to tell me that. But what I wanted was things to find ways to help me potentially know how to use sleep better, know how to recover better, know how to use the data that my body is telling things to be a better performer, and it's doing that. I'm seeing that, and it is absolutely insane how stressful the dirt bike races are. I want to talk about that too. So one of the things that's going to happen this week is I'm having long thoracic nerve decompression surgery. So on my long thoracic nerve, they're going to decompress the surgery, take out my top rib. It's interesting. How am I going to recover from that? I'm obviously going to be able to do a little bit of cardio with the legs, maybe sit on an assault bike, something like that for every now and again. But I want to see how my body's going to react. Like, what does my recovery score look like? What does the strain look like as I don't work out at the normal levels that I have? And so my neutral number starts to change because of that. So what's my strain score going to look like? What's my recovery score going to look like? I think those will be interesting. Being sick, traveling a lot, all of that, you know, as we go into the holidays, consuming more candy, potentially a lot more pies. What are we gonna see here? I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. So the races and the strain that I've seen has been pretty interesting. When I did the quarter marathon, back in September on the 21st, that strain was insane. I think that was like a 19.7, 19 point something. That was crazy to see. I then did the Wildcat Enduro, which I did a whole video breakdown on of my Seat Time channel if you want to go check that out. Again, a little bit more dirt bike related, but if you're finding this interesting, I go through the data, specifically riding the dirt bike with the footage that you see there. So that was pretty cool to see, and I'm glad that some of the dirt bikers are enjoying that. So, and then of course I did the National Enduro at the Zinc Ranch just this past weekend, 3rd place in the 40+A expert class. Just want to say I'm excited about that. And the strain there was like a 20.7 over 7 tests throughout the day. So there was a lot there. Crazy to see how much strain is accumulated racing and riding my dirt bike. I haven't had a chance to just go ride, and obviously with the surgery I'm not going to have that. So I look forward to 2020 being able to just go out and ride my dirt bike every now and again and see what the strain levels look like versus racing, where I'm really kind of trying to push it at that 90, 95, and then 100% every now and again. That'll be interesting to play with. Dirt bike wise, I wish Whoop would do more. I know they've worked with a lot of different athletes. They have Brittany Marcotte, I believe is her name. She's a stunt woman for the Marvel Live universe. So they've worked with her, and they work with her. There's a podcast and a blog post written out. I just wish that we could see more levels of like the Tomacs, the Roxons, the Cooper Webbs. I would love to start to hear how they could use this data. Racing dirt bikes is way more intense, and I would imagine the strain would be a lot higher than expected by some researchers. So that would be awesome to see. I hope that they get involved with more dirt bikers. If they need me to help them get in touch with people, I'm just saying, I could facilitate that. So here we go. I'm getting ready to have surgery. We're gonna see how I recover from that. It'll be interesting. What else do you guys wanna know? This has kind of been the one month review. Extremely glad I got the thing. If you're still here this time, give it a like, give it a subscribe, but also go to the comments. Has it worked well for you? Has it not worked well for you? How are you using it? How do you think you could use it, hearing some of the things that I talked about? That's just gonna help the community grow more than anything else. So if other people find this video, they'll go through the comments and kind of be like, oh, that's cool, I never thought of that. I'm gonna learn something for sure if you share how you've used that data to perform better, sleep better, recover better, all of those things. So thank you for paying attention. Remember, I am Brian Pierce, your purveyor of awesome. If nothing else, I hope you guys had fun. If you've made it this far, again, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and tell me what else you guys want to hear about. If nothing else, just look forward to seeing you guys on the internet. Peace.